The train headed for Sunset City will be departing soon.
So where would you put a theme park
Green.
in Paris?
Sorry, I thought we were doing like say the first thing that comes into your head again.
Oh, no. Not today.
I would put a theme park in Paris on top of the Eiffel Tower. I think you have to like ride a special elevator up.
I would want it. I would want to balance it on the Eiffel Tower.
Okay.
Just watch as
Alright.
it teeters.
Yeah.
Alright. Okay.
I would put it in the Parisian ghetto.
They say that if you drop a small coin from the Eiffel Tower, if it landed on a person's head, you could kill them.
Yeah, you can do that from a lot of buildings. I think.
Careful not to throw your coins off of buildings then, guys. Jeez.
Don't do that, please. Yeah, no throwing coins off buildings.
I do
But
find it
it's a
funny
donation.
that wherever there's a body of water, there's usually some coins in it, because I don't know why people just feel the inclination to throw coins at water, even if it's not like a wishing well.
It's 'cause
Like,
you
it
get a
could just
wish.
Like the local fountain, or at like Disneyland on the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. Like, the amount of like coins in that thing is ridiculous.
Well, it's pirate treasure pup.
They're French coins. They're not French doubloons. They're French cents, euros.
How the hell do you tell if a coin is French? What are you gonna talk to it or something?
Yeah. All right. Well, Dylan, why don't you introduce the show? But do it like you're saying it exclusively to Frank.
Hey, Frank.
Hi.
Sunset City is a podcast for the Sonic Classic and Modern Age, and we're on it. We're the two of the hosts, Garrilla64 and Gotta Be Frank, us two, and we also have Pup, Channel Pup, and
hi.
M, who I'm meeting for the first time today. Hello, M. But it's not
Yeah,
really about you. It's about Frank. I'm talking to Frank right now. So
So why do we have
Uh,
Pup again?
I don't know.
I'm just here. I don't really like working.
You done know.
You don't.
You
know.
done know.
You
You
don't
done know.
You
Also, if we get super chats, Frank, we'll read them at the end of the stream. We're not going to do it during the stream because it would kind of mess up our little flow we got going on.
Yeah.
And we
I
also
also heard
have
that
Patreon and channel supporters. And there's a couple tiers, Frank, but you already know them.
yeah, but do you have the names of the people who are supporting at the Bat Enjoyer tier?
No, I don't.
Yes,
just
you
pop-
do. Yes, you do. It's in the important resources channel. Go get it.
All right, hold on.
What was that voice?
This is part of the bit. It's always making you do it.
Not this time. This time I'm rebelling against these
He's
guys.
done with the bit.
Okay, well, if you are one of our Bat Enjoyer tier people, like My Great Rolls, Fan 101, Aiden Fitzgerald, Stardust Chaos, Crimson Rose, Mr. SP, and KB, you get shoutouts during the stream, and you also get access to our Discord, and we post things in there sometimes. Yeah,
I'm also pleased to announce this is a cult.
Frank's in there.
I've decided.
I don't think we should. Podbean probably not gonna like you saying that.
Podbean will be fine. Don't worry. They're part of the cult now. But yeah, okay,
Oh.
so today we got a fun episode. We've got M. Banny here. You've probably seen his videos before, but in case you haven't, M, why don't you introduce yourself to the audience? What are you about? What's your whole thing?
Hello, folks. My name is Mbani. I made video essays at one point in time, pretty much exclusively Sonic stuff. Around COVID, got caught up with. Wait, can we say that word?
You can say that word.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably.
Yeah, around around that time,
Oh, you're not
I
spreading
got caught up
misinformation,
with. The less you know, the better.
Comes
Yeah,
on, he starts
around that
spelling it
time,
incorrectly, and
I
we're like, he's false information now.
It's code of 19.
Code of
Kodak
Kodak
19.
19.
The encore.
The camera.
Sorry, go
Yeah, but,
on. Sorry.
around that time, essentially just got preoccupied with being an animator full time, and that's what I'm about right now. Currently, work at Spindle Horse, but yeah,
Sorry, what
Hell
is
yeah.
the company? What is it? Spindle Horse?
yeah.
Nice. That's awesome.
Are you allowed to say what like public projects that you've kind of like worked on and stuff as well?
Oh yeah, well, I mean, Spindle Horse basically, well, they have their expansion that they're doing at the moment with that like recent Homestuck thing that came out. But you know, they're chiefly known for like Hell of a Boss and Has Been Hotel, which is
Oh,
has
okay.
has been my that's been my
I get it.
work
Come on
for the
now.
past while. But
Come on now.
Has been. I
if
get it. Yeah.
I mean if keeping it like Sonic related, I guess if there's anything that people in this call and people watching this podcast would have likely seen, that recent Battle Cats collab thing, I did a little bit of work for.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's me.
Hell yeah.
Sweet. Thanks for the
Hell
rundown.
yeah. And because of that, it behooves us to have a pretty animation-centric episode today. But first, we do have a couple of little topics that we are obligated to talk about and don't really want to talk about. First things first, Sonic Rumble's out. Yay.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's out this time, we swear.
Sonic Rumble has released.
Yes!
Are you
Everybody
sure?
clap.
Oh wait, so you
Woo!
owe Dave Ace money then?
You did it!
Oh shit, you do.
Yeah, I gotta get him that $200 worth of NFT content. I'm working on it, don't worry, I'm just getting some JPEGs online. But, yeah, no, it's here. It's here, it's controversial now, all of a sudden. The PC port is now readily available, and I've been enjoying the PC port. I will say, like, I understand why the controls do need to be up on screen because of the power-ups and stuff like that. Like, they do change. At the same time, I wish it just looked a bit more diegetic for that PC version. It doesn't feel like a very well-done port.
Yeah.
But it is nice to play it in 60 FPS and play it on a big screen and stuff, and it translates quite well. The microtransactions have been quite controversial because, like, if you were to buy the amount of red rings you would need to buy, like, one skin, it could amount to, like, $40. That being said,
Yeah.
it does throw rewards at you quite consistently, from my experience anyway. But I can't truly give the most reliable version of that in the world because I've been playing it since it's been in, like, pre-season whatever the fuck. So I don't know. Like, what do you guys think about that whole microtransaction thing? Like,
I mean, it's a valid criticism of the game. I do think some of the they could give you more red star rings for how much money you're dropping on it. It is a little ridiculous that it does add up to like over $40 for a skin or some kind of bundle or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I
It's
will
kinda
say that
tough. Yeah.
that you can earn some of the red star rings by just doing like the solo challenges or whatever. There's like a bunch of different ways that the game will reward you with red star rings. So don't think of it as like this is the only way to do it. It does mean you are going to have to play the game a little bit, which, I mean, it's still a free to play game. So obviously that is kind of the nature of it with microtransactions.
yeah.
One thing I will say, and has been kind of going around for like maybe the first 24 hours, and it kind of got on my nerves, and it was the misinformation about how rings are earned in game towards your score for like a full match.
Hmm.
It was under the belief by some people that if you had like a higher rarity skin, that you would get more rings like as you play, so you'd have a competitive
match, yeah.
advantage. This is not true. That is only tallied when you finish the game, and that's just the stuff you earn. It has nothing to do with your placement in that match. So
Yeah.
I just want to get that out of the way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pay to
yeah, no,
win
I saw a lot of
allegations
tweets
are just
about that.
nonsense. Like,
It's like I do agree that the microtransactions are they're a bit much. Like it reminds me a little bit of not quite the same thing, but it reminds me a bit of Sonic Runners. How that game,
Oh
if you
man.
played it back in the day, like if you
That's
want
what I
the
was gonna
character, you
say.
might as well just not want the character because you're not going to get them.
Yeah.
The gotcha system in that was, I'm gonna use this word. I'm gonna say it was actually evil, like actually predatory, like in every sense of the word for that, because you could earn as many red rings as you want in that game, and you still hardly ever get anything because the drops were so bad. Rumble
the
is
only
not
diff-
like that. Rumble has
Yeah.
some things that have like gotcha elements, but a lot of the times you're going to be using the rewards you get to get the thing that you want, and like the only thing that's going to stop that is if it's not in the store when you want to buy it, which is still kind of annoying, but it's not quite like not quite like Runners to me, where that game was like, yeah, you better play for 40 days straight and then still not unlock anything, or you get like a duplicate and it hardly does anything. Like this game is definitely there's some issues, but like I think, and it's not a way to excuse it, but I think a lot of games are like this now. It kind of just sucks, and I'm not saying it's okay, but like I don't think, like, how much of a choice does anyone really have at this point, right? Like when they're making the game, it's probably like make the game or we'll hire someone else.
The other thing is also like,
to do it.
People have been kind of saying like, oh, I hope Sega will step in and fix the microtransaction economy, and it's like, oh my god, guys, Sega don't care about that. Sega aren't gonna care. The game
they
was
made
developed
the game.
by
like
Sonic
they
Team.
wanted that in there, clearly.
Yeah, like not to mention, need I remind you, Sega's a corporation? Like, of course they're gonna like.
Granted, they are a lot nicer and like a lot better to their people nowadays than I would say a lot of corporations are.
Agreed,
but still, they are a corporation. You know.
Yeah, they're
not perfect,
happy about that.
No.
It's like
They're
when
not
people
perfect, they are definitely better than most, I would say. But
it's like when people go into our live stream and complain about like the amount of ads, and I'm just like, yay, like excellent.
We can afford things.
I'm only in this for the money, chat. I hate you, but like
I hate you, chat. I hate you, chat. I hate you, chat.
I hate you, chat. But yeah, no. The other thing I will say though, this is the part that's truly despicable, is the fact that I've been snubbed not once but twice by the fucking creator program. What's it gonna take, damn it? Yes, here we go. I'm kicking up such a stink about this. Here we go. I'm gonna kick up a stink about it because, like, genuinely, like, what the fuck? Like,
it is strange to see that someone like Channel Pup was not brought into the creator program. Hopefully, you know, they hopefully for the launch, that's not like the only wave of like onboarding that they do for it. Hopefully, they bring more people into it, because I know there are some creators where it would make sense to have them in it.
Don't worry, we'll just bring in the same 7 YouTubers we always bring in, and absolutely no offense to them at all. I'm just saying, get some new talent on as well, you know? Like, ugh. But, yeah, Sonic Rumble. That's Sonic Rumble. We've done so many episodes where we've talked about Sonic Rumble extensively, so we'll move on to the next one. So this is one where, Dylan, you and Frank might as well fucking sit out for this one, but, there have been a couple of Sonic conventions on, a couple of major ones. Right now going on is Sonic Expo Dallas. That's where Trey is. He's not with us. He's there to buy all the merch that they have with his big Hollywood bucks.
Yeah.
On the other hand, though, there was Sonic Con last week in the UK, which I was in attendance at. We had M was also there as well. How did you find it?
I was there as well.
Yeah. Did you enjoy it?
I did. It was my first of these cons that I've ever went to. I never went to what was it called? Summer of Sonic. And that was that other thing, the Sonic Adventure music experience that I remember contributing to the Kickstarter for, but ended up not going. Damn. So yeah, this was a first for me. Yeah.
Did you have a good time?
I would say that I did. Yeah. The only missed opportunity for me is that I went out of my way to bring one of my Sonic vinyls to get it signed by Ryan. And I mean, that was you probably know more than me because I think you were closer to it when it happened. But basically, just an incident happened which kind of made the meet and greets disband somewhat early.
Yeah, so there was meant to be more of like there was meant to be a panel with like a meet and greet after, but someone had a medical emergency. And as far as I understand, they're fine, but they had to be like carted off and stuff, which put a pin in some of the meet and greet stuff and that panel. But they did reorganize the meet and greet for later, but the queues were incredibly long and stuff like that, and just kind of not worth it. So that was one aspect where things didn't go to plan, and for good reason. What I was thinking though was like, had someone at least had the courtesy to poo on the floor, we could have been in an internet historian video, you know? Like, but never mind.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, never mind. But like, I thought the event was fantastic. Like, they had lots of like live performances and stuff, and that's something I wasn't anticipating. When they said like, when they said that TJ Davis and Johnny Gioeli were going to be there, as far as I understood, it would just be for signings. But no, they had the Sonic Hall, and in there they had a TJ Davis performance where they did tracks from Metropolis Street Racer as well as Sonic R. I sadly only got to the tail end of that set. And then Sysconic, his band Emerald Radio, were doing a live performance, which I also caught the tail end of, which we're starting to sense a theme here.
Tails, huh?
Bentley Jones was there, which I also
was
caught
there.
the tail end of.
Yeah, no, I did too. I think we linked up around that time for when he performed that. We came in around the time he was doing like his own arrangement of Escape from the City, which was a surprise.
Yeah, there was like so they're doing like a festive Sonic album.
I just want to throw in Bentley Jones goes by they, just in case anyone was. I don't want to be like. I'm just
right.
You know, just in case.
Oh sure, yeah, accidents do happen and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I'm just for like, I'm not saying like correct. Oh, actually, I'm just.
Oh yeah, no, of course,
You know,
of course. But yeah, no, Bentley is actually working on an album of like festive themed Sonic tracks. It's like a Sonic Winter album, and they did like a festive version of Escape from the City, which was really nice actually. I really enjoyed that. And then after that, the big finale of Bentley's set was Dreams of an Absolution, which the crowd were going absolutely nuts for. Everyone was loving
Fucking
that,
love that
which
stuff, dude.
was great. And then very shortly
Is
after,
there a recording of this at all? Like, did
Probably
they record the
somewhere.
concert?
I mean, I
Sure,
sent
somebody has one up.
I sent my crunchy recording of Dreams of an Absolution to you, Dylan, because I know you like Silver.
Oh,
But
yeah.
You'll probably
yeah,
find them all
here
over
it is,
Twitter
yeah.
at this point.
yeah.
Johnny Gioeli and Bentley Jones.
Yeah, so after that, yeah, we had Crush 40. And I mean, it's Johnny Gioeli with a different guitarist and different, I think, bassist. I couldn't really see shit, to be honest, but I didn't mind that. I was having a whale of a time to the Crush 40 set. And it was kind of great because I wasn't anticipating like kind of a Sonic Symphony light kind of situation. But
Yeah.
as soon as I'd seen TJ, I was like, well, I've got my money's worth. And like, I didn't know that everyone else would be performing. Cisco did a really incredible performance of Endless Possibilities as well. So like the Unleashed fans were catered to as well. That was like, for me, the main thing was those performances. That was the most exciting part. The overall thing was a little cramped, I will admit. Like, the space wasn't perfectly optimized, but, like, I'm happy to kind of look past that. They had, like, a photo op thing right as you go into the hall as well, so it meant that you kind of had to really kind of squirm your way around the people getting their pictures taken with these really nice statues. They had, like, some custom Sonic movie statues. And then, like, my friend Stevie, she was selling her merch, and she was right at the entrance, basically, and she did amazingly with the sales. But she was there with a Game Apologist as well, who'd also been staying on my couch for that weekend. So it was cool to link up with him again. And yeah, no, there were just lots of cool people. And yeah, at one point, I just go over to just see how Nick's doing. And then he's like, "Oh, hey, you gotta meet M and stuff." I'm like, "Wait, what do you mean? As in M Banny's here?" And stuff like that. And yeah, we just chatted, didn't we? Like, we had a great time.
Would it be kosher to talk about the little charity spectacle that happened during
Yes.
Johnny Gioeli's performance?
Tell it.
So it was actually it was all for a good cause, but like I just remember a lot of us were watching like we had a whole lemon in our mouths, like. All right, yeah, go. Why don't you give us the details, Em?
Okay, so I believe it was at one point between one of the songs, Johnny talked about charity that this he wanted to donate to for this
like
event,
an autism related
and that's right. And he offered to bring someone on stage to sing "What I Made of" with him. And there was basically just an auction that went on for a short while in the crowd. I don't know if they actively went for that number, but I know at one point somebody was about to pay $4,000 for this.
God.
I think it was split into two different people, but I'm not entirely sure.
It was $4,000 between two people. One of them went up to do the singing, and I was just like, who the fuck has that disposable income to just do that? Like, I was like, is Trey here? Like, but like,
Hollywood elite.
you know, he would have sung as well. He would have done it. But I tell you what,
That
I
would
was
have been
also...
the best day of his life. He could be. He would have been so happy.
The thing is, you're paying to technically do a service. You're
It's
supposed
for
to get
charity.
paid for the... I know it is for charity, to be fair. Like, yeah, it's all a good cause and stuff. And I believe the charity is called Popcorn for the People, which creates jobs for adults with autism and developmental disabilities. So just people on the spectrum and stuff like that. And I'm just saying, there's a bunch of people, great people in the crowd that you could have just slipped that money straight into their pockets and done the trick. But, like... No, like, I was like, okay, so we're going to see a total stranger go up and sing. This could either be the epitome of comedy, or it could be something else. The person that went up and sang was actually really good. I was actually kind of amazed. I was like, wow, they're great.
Awesome.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah, no, so...
I don't know. I don't even know if I heard them or not, because the energy in the room at that point in time was just, yeah, everybody was just going up for that song. I think the song I most noticed people going up for was "I Am All of Me."
oh, yeah.
Yeah, people turn up for that song.
Oh, people always go nuts for I Am All of Me. It's like, I think next to, like, Live and Learn, it's probably, like, the big anthem of Crush 40.
I'm
I
sorry,
think it's the one that
I'm
just.
sorry.
I think it's the one that just sticks out to me when I think about just, I guess, just Shadow's perception over time. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of his theme. Like, they love All Hail Shadow, but I think most people are kind of in agreement that I Am All of Me is kind of Shadow's definitive theme. But yeah, no, it was a great time. Like, I think they didn't have time to do the sound mixing much either, so there were a couple of tiny hiccups in there, but it was nothing major. I think Webster pointed out in his video, Webster's a friend of the show, that like the music was quite loud mixed for, like, say, people in the audience on the spectrum and stuff like that, so maybe that might have been a source of discomfort.
That's why I always have trouble at concerts.
Yeah, like, for me it was fine, but, like, yeah, I understand why, like, it would probably be a cause of discomfort for people maybe a little further along on the spectrum or in a different area on the spectrum. But, like, yeah, no, it was a great performance. And then there was, like, the after party. This is my biggest point of critique, is that the after party was kind of a school disco. Like, I think when
Well, I wasn't there for that.
when you've had the live Sonic performances, it's kind of hard to get excited for the DJ set, if that means, like... And that's no disrespect to the DJ or anything like that, but it's just like... God, we were rocking out silly mode earlier, and now I'm just kind of stood on the sidelines watching people who I highly doubt those IDs used for entry were real while I'm watching. And I'm just like, I don't feel like I should be here. So I was kind of aware my mental battery was tapped out as well. But yeah, it was a good time, and we got to, you know, hang out with lots of our YouTube peers, meet fans in some cases as well, which was kind of crazy. Yeah, was a good time as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, it was good.
Made me come out of hibernation.
Wow, that was almost a very different sentence for a second.
Oh,
Stop.
No.
Don't worry, Podbean
okay.
has no idea what we're talking about.
Okay, so the next one we got on the docket. So we want to talk about animation today because obviously, you do animation, you know your stuff, and we're just gonna sit here. We're just gonna sit here and wait, you know, like, no. So animation in Sonic games has been a bit of a hot topic. So, I guess kind of round table. How do we feel about kind of where we're at with the animation in Sonic games at the moment? I guess.
I'm glad that we have animations still, even if it's just the occasional TV show and then the promotion for a video game.
In-game.
I think it's
I
nice
mean, like,
to have specials.
We're gonna go on to kind of more TV stuff later. I mean, just right now, as far as like Sonic games are concerned, like the animation
well, like-
within those games and stuff.
Oh, in the games? Oh, no, it's
In-game
garbage.
animation. Okay.
It's bad. Okay, I mean, so
It's bad.
Shadow Generations is a little bit better. Got a little bit better. I think Cross Worlds is actually really nicely animated for the most part. I think it looks really good, and I tend to have a bit more of an appreciation for it because I've been modding so much. So like I have to appreciate how much work goes into making animations actually look nice. But other than that, like Frontiers, a little fucking silly looking with how cool it is. Like it's so fucking cool, and then it looks like that when you animate it, and it's like, okay. You know, like I see a progression that's going well, but you know, it's getting there. It's definitely getting there.
Yeah, Frontiers was definitely a step up from Forces. At least I think Forces might be some of the worst animation in the franchise. As our friend Tom Topics pointed out, like there's just no easing on anything in that game. It's all very linear. And I mean, with Crossroads, I don't think it's as good as Shadow Generations' animation. Nowhere near as clean. And I think it is because like they've used a lot of mocap, but they haven't like necessarily tidied it as much as they did with Shadow Gens. Especially with like Rouge's animations, for example. They're kind of terrible in Crossworlds, especially like when she's got like her hand up and she's just vibrating around. She's just like, you know, she looks like she's shivering almost. Like, so it's hit and miss in Crossworlds, but it is at least better than, say, Forces, I guess, maybe? I mean, definitely. Like, for Sonic and stuff, you can tell, like, most of the effort has been put in for Sonic and, like, Shadow and Tails and Knuckles and stuff like that. Shadow Generations was a huge step forward. I want to see him stylize it a bit more now going forward. But, Frank, what say you?
Yeah, I never really thought the animation was either great or bad. It was never really something I paid attention to unless there was something that was like very noticeable. So I never really had much of an opinion on it.
Sure. Em?
Right. Well, I think what initially just made me want to come on here and just chop it up about this topic in particular was around the time. It was around the time that what was it called? That press release with the animation test of like the deformers that they were going to use for Shadow Generations, but ended up not using because of like time constraints or whatever. That I like my biggest takeaway from that was just that we're kind of we're at an interesting juncture, I think, where the fact that they're like messing around with this tech, this like proprietary tech that they've designed for this this specific animation quirk or fundamental, it tells me that just time and resources are maybe just a bit more on their side than they've been for a long time, honestly. So the fact that this is a conversation, like that this is a hot button topic, I think it's good. I think it's good for people to really get in the weeds about what Sonic's been lacking as far as animation goes. I would say where it is currently, it feels like it's just been very slow increments of where it needs to be. I want to try and not be either picky or have my eyes glaze over when I just see like the same models over and over again with like, you know, slightly better animation put into them. Because like, as like I look at Shadow Generations and see in it a lot of what I've wanted out of not just Sonic animation, but just like, you know, the curation of like a Sonic level, how it's kind of this, you know, it's this big set piece that weaves in and out of different cinematic moments yeah, like and just in terms of like there are a lot of like there are a lot of small personalized moments with the animation specifically in a lot of Shadow Generations levels that you just haven't seen in Sonic games recently. Like I think of like the Black Doom sequences in like what'd you call it?
Oh,
like the Black Doom sequences in like what's the name of that level? Sunset Heights. Almost said Sunset City.
Oh, sure.
Like just like at the end of that Doom sequence where he's coming out of like the kaleidoscopy thing, and he does that little hippity flippity thing, and he like does like a trick right as it lines up with like the UI and like the boost being enabled again, and then he like rolls back on the ground and starts running, and like that's like a little personalized moment that took some real directorial intent with the way the level is supposed to play out and feel, that you just haven't gotten out of like a Forces or even really a Frontiers. And I would just like to see more of that going forward, along with, I mean, like you mentioned, Pup, just more stylization. Again, a lot of the stuff, for me personally, it's like there's just a filter over it when I see these old ass fucking models that a lot of the stuff has to be done with. And I mean, we could maybe get more into this into like when we talk more about like TV stuff. But yeah, lost my train of thought there.
Sure.
Yeah, it's fine. You said a lot.
No, you can always catch the next one. But
It's a lot of stuff to think about there. I do appreciate that specifically, like those. I always called it like set pieces. You know, like when something exciting would happen in the level, and you know they tried to do that with forces. It's just that they had no substance to them. Like they were just silly quick time
it would
events
take
that didn't
control
really
away from the player
anything.
every time it wanted to do something
Yeah.
like that.
But
Then you've
yeah,
got kind
like-
of frontiers
Yeah.
and
In Shadow, like you know, you have set pieces like for again Sunset Heights, like you said. I love that bit with the animation at the end where he does do that role because it is like the only time he ever really does that. I think.
I mean, also you got like kind of
And
for a
then-
point of
Hold on,
Oh,
I got
sorry, go
one
ahead.
tiny. Is the part where the missiles are coming down from the sky, and you know, it's another one of those things where it's like, in Forces that would have just been a visual, but in Shadow it is both a very cool visual, and you get to interact with it by using chaos control, and it's like, cool. It's like good shit. Like keep doing that, please.
yeah, like
Anyway, yes, now I'm done.
with Frontiers as well, it's kind of the opposite end of the spectrum from Forces, in that like all of its like its level design and those worlds are utilitarian. They're built entirely around just playing them and stuff. Like in terms of like the cyberspace stages, that's probably some of the least automation you've gotten in just a straightforward Sonic level in a while. And like for especially like the original ones that they did, they're built around just a bit of platforming and stuff like that. But you can tell there's no dressing it up. The assets are just in there. There's no story events. The only context as to what is actually going on in cyberspace is given to you through dialogue, and that's it. And when you kind of take that over to Shadow Generations, where you've got stuff like the big missile coming towards you. You've got stuff like every piece of scenery serving a purpose. And then you've even got just like transitions into like Radical Highway. And I think those direct transitions are something we might even see more of in the next mainline Sonic game, as like Crossworlds has kind of gone very hard with the whole look how quickly we can transition into the next environment thing. It would be kind of weird if the next Sonic game came out and never made any use of that kind of technology either. Like, I think that would be extremely cool for them to kind of really kind of make that one of Sonic's thing, is like, you know, going to all these different locations. Maybe they could do like a cyberspace mix and match kind of deal where like you could have kind of the Crossworld thing go on but with like a cyberspace kind of aesthetic, which they've already done in Crossworlds anyway. I don't want them to revisit cyberspace as a concept, because any excuse to not have Green Hill and Chemical Plant and Sky Sanctuary to a lesser extent back is fine by me. I think, you know, going from just Frontiers, where everything is just built around gameplay and it just feels kind of like a tech demo, to Shadow Generations. Shadow Generations feels like the Sonic game we couldn't have. You know, it feels like kind of what I was asking for. Is like,
It feels fake.
give
Like,
it
it
some,
feels like a pipe dream. Like I made it up in a dream, you know?
yeah, give it some production value, give it an injection of budget, put some real artistry into those environments, which they did for that game. I'm just really hoping we'll see that carry forward into the next like main game.
Yeah, I mean, I was blindsided by just how slick that presentation, the presentation of that game was. We just hadn't been conditioned to expect,
Quality.
you know, like these, yeah, like we haven't been conditioned to expect like levels with these like gameplay to cutscene transitions that were as seamless as they were, and to have levels that actually tell the story through the gameplay itself.
So good.
It's like that was something the series had a real command over, up until Lost World, I would say.
I mean, remember in Frontiers, where anytime you did something cool with a boss, it would have to fade to black first. Like,
Yeah.
and sometimes it would fade to black for a while. I was like, I'm playing this on a PS5. What is this about? I also get because they didn't have any animation transitioning there, so they just had to do the fade to cover up the fact that Sonic was once a few miles away, now he's over here. I mean, the best example of that is in the Final Horizon boss fight against the End, where you're in the boss fight arena, and then the fucked up Supreme End collab comes crawling at you, but he's crawling from the sea. Like, it's almost as if there's a second part to that boss arena that he's meant to crawl in from, but it just isn't there. So he's just walking above the sea for a little bit, and he does that fucking, the ring crawl at you, which is a sick anime. I love how he crawls like that. But where is he coming from? And where was he before? He was in the middle of this earlier. There's no geography to it. So I guess they had to mask it with those fade to blacks. But then when you look at how, like, deliberate everything is in Shadow Generations, like, really? This was, like, what, 1 year after Final Horizon dropped? And you've come this far? That's crazy.
Well, they're probably working on it at the same time, right?
Oh, they
'Cause
were.
Wasn't Frontiers DLC, like, a really, like, bare-bones skeleton crew
Yeah,
kind
it
of
was,
thing?
yeah.
Thank God they did that, though. Like, that really did buff Frontiers up to where it needed to be.
A lot of
You know,
people
like,
disagree.
it's-
Like, there's a lot of people that think it's a worse game for it.
No, okay, I mean the story, at least. I think the gameplay and, like, some of the stuff that happens, sort of like what we were talking about before, how they haven't done certain things in a while. Like, we get the cool supersonic boss fight, we have the cool rendition of the song from the main
Yeah.
theme, except it's different now. Like, I was just kind of blown away that, like, this is, like, it was evoking the games that I've been wanting it to kind of evoke for, like, 10 plus years now. I was like, this is what I've been waiting for. And even if it was kind of jank, like, I agree, we did go right to Shadow Generations, and last time we went from, like, a really good game, you know, Generations, to the next title was Lost World. And they completely threw everything out. They threw the baby out with the bathwater, that whole thing.
Yeah.
But they didn't do that this time. We saw everything that they've been, like, iterating upon, and it finally just, like, hit so well that Shadow Gens is, like, one of the best games they've ever made. So it's just really good to see that, with the animation, obviously, but, like, as a whole, like, they are just making improvements. Like, I
Final
love to see that.
Horizon also, like, to me, is, like, the most exaggerated, undiluted form of Sonic Frontiers, where it's, like,
So fucking...
build quality of a fucking Lenovo laptop from 2014, but
My
the Nintendo Switch.
my
Yeah.
my Cliff Notes criticism of Frontiers, since I never really made a video about it and don't intend to, is that it feels like a parody of Sonic Team making an open world game, and all of that is just kind of distilled in Final Horizon. Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
because
It's a good way to
it's like everything about it, everything about the game that just feels kind of aimless, and yeah, everything about the game that just feels kind of aimless is basically just distilled in that.
what's interesting, though, is that I think Final Horizon was a lot less fetch questy, at least for the open zone stuff. It was a lot more, like, you have a platforming bit you gotta do, you go do that, and then you'll meet, like, a Coco dude or something, and then he'll give you what you need to unlock the emerald and stuff like that. I felt like, whereas, like, Frontiers itself is very much just get the tokens and come back, you know? But it's like, Frontiers I had an obscene amount of fun with because it's Sonic in an open world, like, I'm gonna have fun with that. And Final Horizon, kind of the same applies, but it's also like, holy shit, this is a shoddy product. Like, like, wow. You know how it is. But, like, yeah, kind of jumping back on board, like, the animation stuff. I think the closest Frontiers ever actually got to kind of, like, the level of, like, using your environment for cinematic events that, say, Shadow Generations did was that first encounter with the Wyvern in Ares Island, where he's just chasing after you and firing missiles at you and stuff, and you're running away.
Yeah.
That's the closest we had to anything like that, and it's not even
Or
close to the
Giganto.
level.
Remember when Giganto showed up, he froze Sonic? Like, you're in the same island, it's just you're not in control.
It's true, but that
like
doesn't
almost-
factor in any of the island's level design, you know? You're just homing attack.
Yeah,
into
yeah,
rocks.
yeah, that's true. It's like just setting it in the level at least.
I think the thing is, where Frontiers kind of... like, the animation is obviously quite toilet. I mean, it's varied in Frontiers, because there are some cutscenes that actually look okay. But, like, I thought the fighting animation, I can't say it's particularly well animated, but I like the poses that Sonic is doing during all of it. I was like, okay, so they're kind of leaning into the whole have him in a static pose while just flashy shit goes on around him kind of deal.
That game is like, I mean, one of the biggest victims of this is just its overall presentation and its animation being a part of that. That game overall is just an intense product of a compromise in terms of just what they're able to get done in time. And like Frontiers is how do I say? I had this in my head a second ago.
Visual identity?
Yeah, it's like the topic of like just Sonic's animations and how kind of spotty they are in a game like that. It's kind of, it becomes like a larger topic of just sort of the erosion and like flattening of Sonic's aesthetic intentions. And Frontiers is kind of it's kind of the poster child for that, in that like it's the game out of the series that probably has the worst visual direction. It just doesn't look like anything. It's kind of, it's working with,
or like a test environment most of the time.
Yeah, it's working with just like a lot of assets that they kind of have to make the best of with the limited resources they have. Like I mentioned before, like the topic of the models that I would get back on, but it's like the kind of forest for the trees when it comes to like the model discussion is that like where these models started initially was with like Sonic Unleashed, and they were like custom built for the aesthetic intentions of that game.
Yes.
Because every game we've had since, they've kind of been treated like a one size fits all quick and dirty asset. It's like that's yeah.
It's the thing that could get really confusing, but I think I do actually have a little answer to. Is like, obviously, like, a lot of people have pointed out some of the stylistic shortcomings of like the modern Sonic model compared to like previous ones. Things such as the concave, or is it convex ears, or whatever the fuck. And the
convex is going outwards, I think.
Yeah,
right?
So it's convex ears then. And things like the muzzle curve and stuff like that. And the thing is, people will clown on this, but it is actually kind of, it's shape language. Shape language does matter. But I think there's also there needs to be an understanding of what the original intentions for that model were. And Sonic Unleashed, like, if you look back at like its development and stuff, a big part of Sonic Unleashed was a cinematic look with a brand new lighting engine, and this lighting engine would deliver Pixar quality lighting, and that was what they were all about, was Pixar kind of aesthetics and stuff like that. And, I mean, they wanted it to look really good so that people would take less of their word on it when people left, like, terrible reviews and stuff, like, how can this be bad? Look at it. Look how cinematic it is. Look at the boost. Look how polished this looks. And by extension, that Sonic model works really well for that game. Like, people will say it has all these shortcomings, but then why does it look good in Unleashed? And the reason is, that model was designed entirely around the lighting engine of Hedgehog Engine 1. The idea of that muzzle being raised above the eyes was so that it would catch the light and, like, cast shadows and stuff like that. The ears kind of convex a little bit so that they catch the light and have more of a gradient in the inner ear and stuff like that. It was all about that, as far as I understand. And when you take that from a game like Unleashed, that's all about that Pixar-esque lighting engine, and then pull that over to a game like, I don't know, Sonic Forces, where a Pixar aesthetic is no longer what they're going for, and it's gone for some more simple aesthetics with, like, its Green Hill Zone and stuff. Like, the modern Sonic model still works quite well in Generations, because they're still kind of going for a little bit of a, a high-fidelity kind of Pixar vibe, whereas after that, they went a bit more cartoonish. It no longer works in that cartoonish environment, especially not in, say, Sonic Lost World, which really needed a yoinky-sploinky Sonic to match its yoinky-sploinky environments. And then just in Frontiers, the whole thing just completely fell apart. Like, they need a purpose-built model for the art style they want to do going forward. And I think the problem is they haven't really demonstrated any understanding of what that art style is actually going to be until I think very recently, when Shadow Generations kind of brought it back to kind of that slightly Pixar-esque high fidelity style. And then, like, obviously Crosswords does the same, but it doesn't look Pixar-y. And I think now that we're in like a post-Spider-Verse world, where we're looking at more stylized animation that brings on more of the sensibilities of 2D animation, people want things like shape language and stuff back. People want those big rounded eyes that don't cut off at the snoot. They want the ears that frame the face. They want those sensibilities back. And I think it makes too much sense to not do, you know, like...
Well, what makes it especially difficult for Sonic, and just having this having this position on the animation of, more or less the path of least resistance. Like, we'll just mocap these characters, or we'll just do the least amount necessary, which is kind of with the assets that we have, which is kind of what they've been stuck in for a while. What makes this difficult with Sonic especially is that I remember reading an interview with Evan Stanley a while ago. This is like around the beginning of IDW. One of the things that makes Sonic, drawing Sonic in like the really volumetric way that she does, one of the things that makes that difficult is that he's a character that relies on a lot of illustrative cheats and shorthands in order to, like, look the way he's supposed to look. That's what the conjoined eye is. That's what the three quill silhouette is, and why he always needs to be posed a certain way in 3D in order for that to read properly. He's a character who not necessarily always looks better in a drawing, but like just a lot of principles of just like 2D illustration is just important to what just makes him look good. And that's not something they've really been able to, hone in on when these models are like animated more for efficiency's sake than for like any kind of artistic visual intention that they may have for any individual game, because they're not able to have those as deliberately as they probably like to until very, very recently.
It's something that bothers me about, like, the renders as well. I mean, there's a lot that bothers me about those fucking renders, but, like, one of the things that kind of bothers me is that on the renders, they very rarely pose the quills, and it's like, this is a still image. I can understand why in-game it might be difficult to kind of nail that three-quill silhouette from all the angles, because depends what angle the camera's at. There are definitely ways they can do it, but I also understand that's a challenge. But when it comes to the renders, it's just like, why does his head look like a fucking croissant, Like, what's going on here?
It is strange, because okay, like, I just started doing renders. Like, I'm very new to this. And, like, I feel like if something looks bad, I go, oh, I'm gonna do that again. Then I'm gonna change that. But, I don't know, like clearly people who do this professionally shouldn't have problems like I'm having, so I don't get why Sega's so reluctant to just get new renders done or, like, have new models done. Like, it can't be that crazy expensive, right? Like,
you can also tell that a lot of the Crosswords, I mean, I might be wrong about this, and feel free to call me out if I am, but I have a sneaking suspicion that a lot of the Crosswords renders are renders they might have just had laying around for a bit, because you can tell kind of a difference between the ones that might have been done recently versus the ones I suspect were done a while ago. For example, Rouge, Jet, and, like, Wave and Storm. Like, they're lit nicely, and their shadows on them look nice. And their posing looks a little bit more accentuated. But then you look at someone like Amy or Knuckles, and they're covered in those nasty gray 2003 shadows. And they look kind of metallic and stuff. I think, I wish a bit more care would be taken with that side of things. Like, these are renders. These are still images. They should look good, And I'm just going to say as well, fucking absolute no-no. I will complain about this every time I see it. I'm never going to shut up about it. Is giving them lips. Fucking please, for the love of God, stop. It looks terrible every time.
It's kind of nightmare fuel.
It's horrible. I saw like a no-no sheet of like Amy's facial expressions. I was like, I tell you what should be on the fucking no-no sheet is those nasty ass lips with the fucking we didn't quite weight paint this correctly dimples on the side of it. Like, ugh, get rid of it, brother. Ugh.
Yeah, I think Sonic's visual identity, as you know, as inconsistent as it's been very inconsistent and stagnant at the same time. And it's about time for a shakeup.
Would we say it's at maybe one of the weaker points in Sonic's visual identity, or would we say that there have been weaker long-term, I guess, points for Sonic?
Well, I think what's most consequential in that regard is actually Sonic Lost World. I think even though that game brought to like the gameplay animation specifically, that's a thing you hear praised a lot about the game. Even though it brought more like 2D, like more animation fundamentals that you'd expect from a character as cartoony as Sonic. In a lot of ways, like just the DNA of that, even though they pivoted away from that as quickly as they did, just a lot of its visual DNA you can still kind of see in like Forces and even Frontiers. Just like the way the jump ball looks, the way characters often are kind of like the very stiff way in which characters are animated. The art design itself, moving away from what they had from like Unleashed through to Colors through the generations, which had that kind of that like in Unleashed it was very explicitly Pixar, but in Generations and Colors it had that very like fantastical, abstract, but also making a point to look very organic at the same time. These are like environments first and abstract cartoons second. Lost World completely leaned into, the abstract cartoon side of that. And I think that seems to have just left a permanent stain on the way that they stylize things, to the point where, then we get to Frontiers, which is just the entirely opposite problem of being made up of either just leftover assets or like, stock Unity maps. So in terms of where we are now, again, it's difficult to say because so much of what they're still producing in these games is just made up of like pre-existing stuff. It's hard to know. It's hard to know it's hard to predict what a new Sonic game would look like at this point, I guess.
I think
Yeah,
realistically,
that's
my
fair to say.
expectation is that they're probably going to keep the same models, maybe with tweaks here and there. And the reason I say
That's
that,
a safe expectation, yeah.
yeah, I don't. So here's the thing: I don't blame Sega for wanting to stick with a version of Sonic for the long term. I just wish it wasn't this one. Like I'd rather they stuck with the '06 one, to be honest. Like I think he's got a nice yoinky sploinky look to him that I think suits Sonic quite well. Even if you take him out of the realistic environments of '06, like Sonic looks quite good when he's got lanky proportions and stuff. Like the Yuakawa artwork from like Sonic Adventure. His limbs are really long and noodly in that artwork, which is funny considering how stumpy and scrunkly he is in game. But like, I think it wouldn't take much to kind of build off of that foundation. I will say, like, someone pointed out and stuff, and his response to this was that he would make it kind of a priority for his next project to kind of improve in this area. And I will say Kishimoto has kept his word about a lot of things. Like when it came to like Final Horizon, for example, he made all kinds of promises and he did deliver on all of them. And we know that Kishimoto has been kind of promoted to like a management position within Sonic Team now, so whether or not he's directing the next game, I don't know, but he'll definitely have a hand in it. So I'm kind of intrigued to see where it goes. But I understand that he was like a project manager for Crossworlds, and like the presentation in Crossworlds versus the presentation in Frontiers. I mean, I haven't really chalked up much of Frontiers' presentation to Kishimoto, to be honest, because look at all of Kishimoto's games, and there's not a single visual through line between any of them. Like, they all look completely different to one another. The only thing I can kind of identify is a bit of platforming spam here and there, because, like, Colors had it, Lost World has it, Forces doesn't, but that's because Forces doesn't have platforms. And then, like, Frontiers is just, like, yeah, platform spam.
I don't really want to make any declarative statement about Kishimoto as a director, but
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that there just isn't really a through line between those games other than like sort of design habits they've gotten into and I guess kind of whatever industry trend they're sort of obliquely paying lip service to. I get the I get an impression, especially with how he responded, just how he was during the final Horizon DLC, and just kind of adding to the game, whatever like got the most likes on Twitter. Yeah, like I don't know, he feels kind of there's an aspect of his directorialness over these games that feels like it might be designed by committee. I don't know what his. I just don't feel an intrinsic goal from him specifically when it comes to these games.
I think there's
precisely because of how radically different a lot of them have felt. Yeah.
I think there's been a lot of like unfortunate hands dealt to him. I guess I'll be fair on that angle, but like
I agree with that.
I think he really enjoys the platforming aspect of Sonic. When you look at like Kishimoto's games, with the exception of Sonic Forces, they tend to put a little more emphasis on platforming than, say, others do. But what's also interesting is that like Sonic Colors was, I think, Kishimoto's first mainline Sonic game. And that game looks fantastic. I think that's still a great-looking game. But, I mean, then, like, let's move it over to Lost World. That was built off of the Colors engine rather than being built off of the Generations and Unleashed version. And then look at Forces, and then that's built off of Lost World. And then you look at Sonic Frontiers, that's clearly built off of Lost World as well. I think it's safe to say that there is a game framework that Kishimoto tends to work with, and it is the one that is built off of Sonic Colors, because then you've got, like, Sonic Generations and Sonic Unleashed, which aren't built off of that framework at all, and it's kind of baffling as to why they didn't return to that for Sonic Forces, given that you know, was trying to be kind of a Generations 2 kind of deal. But I think the other problem is just that, like, yeah, obviously, like, Sonic Colors was a big success. Sonic Lost World was very experimental and just didn't work very well. And I think one thing that's understood is that Kishimoto actually really wanted to have big supersonic boss fights against the Deadly Six in that game, which wasn't something he'd get to implement until Frontiers. Imagine having Kellen Quinn tracks while Sonic is fighting Zavok, for fuck's sake. But like in
that cartoony world.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
but
I was laughing my ass off. I had my mic muted. I'm sorry. That was
Sega are quite
That's really
notorious for overcorrecting and not vetting criticism properly. I mean, like, look at even down to, like, the main theme of Sonic Lost World. There was an IGN critic who said that vocal tracks in Generations made him want to die or something like that. And then suddenly
die.
Then die, yeah. But then suddenly, like, vocal tracks start disappearing, and now we're into Sonic Lost World, where it's just trying to be Mario. I reckon there's a lot of, like, him having to work with what Sega want him to do. Like, Sega are notorious with their mandates when it comes to comics and stuff, so I guess why wouldn't they be with this? But then you look at Sonic Frontiers, and you mentioned made by committee. It's quite well documented by both Kishimoto and Iizuka that it didn't have the traditional beta-alpha pipeline of a video game. Instead, they basically just got a framework down, let people try it, and just continued to, like, build from there, basically. So it didn't have that conventional alpha beta period. And I suppose that's exactly how you would expect a game with that kind of development pipeline to look, and it's a shame. But at the same time, I guess it has given them a blueprint going forward. To be honest, though, a hot take, like, I don't like the whole throw the baby out with the bathwater mentality, but I personally would maybe feel a bit happier if they did start again with the gameplay framework and built it on having a good physics engine this time. Because I just want it to have some sense of physics to it, you know?
Oh, well, Shadow Generations, well, that's a game that ultimately feels like a Frontiers that knows what it's trying to achieve.
Yeah.
It also feels like just the boost gameplay kind of at its limit, I guess, in terms of how you can how you can design stages for that. At least with the version of it that we're working with now, that is kind of based off like Lost Worlds framework. It's like they've slowed it down tremendously, so it doesn't really have, the breakneck obstacle course sensation that it had with Unleashed and Generations.
Yeah, it's a lot less bullet
But
like and a lot more control.
but it's not really weighty enough, or like it's responsive, but it's not really weighty enough for an adventure game. And it's still there's kind of a there's still kind of that boost, move forward really fast in that direction, just a prompt to it all that prevents it from feeling more adventure-like.
Well, so I just kind of want to touch on another thing, and I want to apologize to Dylan and Frank real quick, because I know you guys have heard this fucking endlessly already, and I won't go too far into it. But, like, you ever try and walk around a loop-de-loop in Shadow Generations?
Oh, God.
I just don't like it. And the thing is, like, it has wall running sections as well, but they don't require speed either. Dream Team, though, actually did those wall run sections perfectly, in that it is quite a challenge to stay on the side of the wall when you're doing, like, a wall run. I personally would love to swap the ground movement of Shadow Generations out with the Dream Team one if we have to stick with boost. Otherwise, I would definitely like to move in more of a adventure direction.
Understandable.
Yeah, I just want them to get the physics right. That's all I'm really asking. It's not going to ruin the next game if they don't, but I want the physics to make a little sense next time. Shadow Generation still manages to be a great game regardless, I find, because it's just a really cool, like, it's got a lot of great level design and a lot of great, like, stuff that still requires skill anyway. But I just want them to build off of a framework that still has some semblance of physics to it, because to me that is still quite... It's a Sonic thing, having those physics down, like...
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you know how it is.
I mean, it's what made the original games appealing. Like, they had physics that you could play around with.
Yeah, exactly. And I also do completely... Like, purely for the context of people that haven't seen behind-the-scenes conversation, I do completely agree with Frank that some guidance is necessary. Like, you don't want to just, like, have it so you could just slingshot yourself out of a fucking loop-de-loop just because you made one wrong move.
Yeah.
Also, Em, are you still here? Your thing's lighting up, but I'm not hearing you.
Oh, wait,
Oh, that's better.
wait, can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, your thing was just lighting up for some reason. All right, do we feel kind of, like... Well, I guess kind of what kind of art style would you like to see for Sonic games kind of going forward, or, like, the next one, I guess? I guess we could go round table. I could hand out Snort 2 again if we want.
I mean, I don't have a ton
He's
to
yours.
say about art style specifically, but I like, like the brighter colors. I like the more fantastical landscapes, like, of the older games, and, like, maybe even like I don't know, like Heroes. Like Heroes is a good compromise, I think. Not for most of the visual style, but, like, for the direction at least. Like, I like the fantasticalness of most of those stages. It doesn't feel like we're just walking through Station Square to, Speed Highway, like, because they weren't going for that. Like, we're going into multiple different environments, and they're all very different from each other, and I think they had a good thing going with that. But then, like, I want them to bring back the giant casinos that you just run through. Like, that's cool as shit. Like,
I
bring
wanted to
that
make
back. Like,
the casino
bring
part of the
cool
open
stuff
zone.
back. That'd be fun.
In fact, I guess.
But yeah, like, make it brighter, make it... I would like it to be more cell-shaded or something. Not specifically cell-shaded, but I think they could go for another kind of style sort of like that I just don't have the words for. And I think it would benefit.
All right. Are you happy to pass Snort 2 on?
Yeah,
I'll take Snort 2 this time then. I mean, I can basically demonstrate now how I want a Sonic game to look, because I've made my own models for it now, like for the little short film I'm working on, which is kind of a demonstration of how I'd like a Sonic game to look, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not me saying, oh, I could do a better job than the devs or something, or anything like that. That's far from my mandate.
I
But
can't believe you could do a better job.
Of course, I've made it to my own liking, so of course I'm going to have a certain affinity for it.
I think the originals are better.
Thank you, Frank. I'll put this up on screen, though, for you to see. That's my Sonic model. That's how I just want Sonic to look. Yeah, there he is. Enjoy, for your viewing pleasure. Now I have something I can point at. And as for environments, a bit like what Dylan said, but I think I'm leaning more still in the direction of maybe, like, adventure. I think, to be honest, with so much of the challenges that Sonic Team have faced when it's come to making Sonic kind of updated for the modern age, you can really point to Sonic Adventure 1 as like a blueprint and like just go from there. That's what I'd like to see. And as for animation, yeah, a bit more stylized. Like, if they want to bring in the figure 8 run cycle like they did for Lost World, I'll welcome that. Just as long as it matches like the overall look of everything else as well, you know? I think you can have cartoony and urban together. Lord knows Sega have done that with like Jet Set Radio and stuff like that. Something that channels more of those vibes. And with that, I pass Snort 2 over to Franken.
Honestly, I don't have an answer for this one. I really wouldn't know what I would want the next Sonic game to look. What I would want an ideal Sonic game to look like.
Would you like to pass your turn?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Snort 2 belongs to M.
Real quick, where are you guys viewing the stream from, actually, if you
YouTube.
I'm not looking at it.
are? Okay. What was I going to say? In terms of just how I would want games to look, there's talk about just wanting Sonic to just lean more into its influences more than it's really done for a long time. And I mean, it's kind of just reflective of Sega themselves and how they respond to criticism. Kind of, they'll overcorrect, they'll take a hard swing in the other direction, and I think sometimes there can be a discrepancy about like when people talk about leading into Sonic's influences, what those influences actually are, or which one, or like the degree to which they should. It's like whether people want these games to look more toony or they want them to look more anime. It's usually just a reaction to like the recent thing that they the visual thing Sonic did that they disliked. It's like I've always felt as though like between something like an Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog and something like an 06, where Sonic looks like Final Fantasy. Like the thing about Sonic's influences is that he's a character who's like leaning into Sonic's influence is something that's very much like an exercise in restraint because of like, how he's this pot, he's just this melting pot of like both Western and Eastern influences. Like frames of reference for that. I feel like frames of reference for that already exist in the series. I think of stuff like the Sonic Riders opening,
Yes.
and like that was animated by Production IG. A lot of stuff that like a lot of the recent animations, like YouTube animations they've done that were directed by like Tyson Hess and like the Team Sonic, not Team Sonic Racing,
Crosswords?
The racing cross the race. There's one for that. I'm thinking of like the racing crosswords one that
Studio
looks
yes.
like red. That's right. Yeah, the one that looks like red line. I think of like I like it's been a goblin in my brain ever since I saw it. Just the way that Sonic is animated in the Chow and Space short. If he looked like that all the time, I think I would be happy. And if yeah, if the 3D games could just translate that the best that they could, I would be happy. Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing as well, is like Shadow Generations and the Studio Giga stuff, they're still like 3D. Like, so if they can make it look like that in a short, there's not really any reason why they shouldn't be able to achieve a similar aesthetic in game. Like, we've got games like Hi-Fi Rush and stuff like that that have replicated like an anime style aesthetic in game. So I would love for them to lean more into that direction. At the same time, I also understand that they've got a nightmare ahead of them with like merch, because like they've geared all of it up towards like a post-Unleashed kind of look. And that would be quite an undertaking, which is why I'm still trying to be a little bit realistic with my expectation for like how the next Sonic game's going to look. It'll probably be the same models with some minor tweaks here and there, is my expectation. But my hope is something a bit more stylized. I do have written on the piss, or the weed, whatever you want to call it, kind of down like if they did like another Sonic animated series, because that's always like a conversation, is like, what's the next Sonic animated series going to be like? Sorry, go on, Frank.
Real quick, I know like what we were talking about for like an ideal Sonic game visually was mostly towards 3D. Mr. Terry Chaos, that's a pretty good one. Like a 2D Sonic game made by Lizard Cube. For a 2D game, I would love that.
I actually just Googled that, and I like the look of it.
Yeah.
I think that's another thing with Superstars, is like, it certainly looks better than Frontiers, but it isn't the most inspired looking Sonic game we've ever had.
Actually, I hadn't been thinking about Superstars much, but that game, when we were talking about animation and everything, that game I feel like does have a nice look to some of its animations. Like, I do like how some things work in that game, but
Movement looks squishy.
And the art style is close. The art style is really close to what I would like, but maybe, especially for classic Sonic, I think it's pretty close to perfect. I think it just needs to have a little bit more expression from the models.
The environments are a bit too plain, and the characters look a bit too cuddly.
I think that's fun for classic Sonic when everything is by default like much smaller and cuddlier.
I guess, but when you look at like Sonic in like the classics and
like,
Mania,
I don't want that for modern Sonic. That's not what I'm saying. Like, I would like modern Sonic to keep going with like the Shadow Generations and like sort of improve on that route almost. Like,
sure, like I'm all fine with Sonic being cute because he's a hedgehog. Like Sonic characters are cute, but like. I think the thing is, Superstars leans a bit more into the cutesiness than, say, the original trilogy or Mania do. Like,
yeah.
Sonic still looks like a little rad dude with an attitude. He doesn't look cuddly. He's cute.
It's not really advertised as a cool game anymore. It was advertised as a fun game to play with your friends on the couch.
Well, that's the thing. Like, there's been a lot of, like, discussion about, like, did Superstars kind of
I don't think
get
that was the point. Because if it was the point to make him look cool, they wouldn't have given him that stupid fucking O-mouth for the entire game.
Yeah, I hate that. But, like, that's the thing people have kind of been quick to point out, is there's a difference between classic Sonic and the modern interpretation of classic Sonic. The real, like, the true classic Sonic of the original 16-bit era is much closer to modern Sonic than the classic Sonic we have now, where they've kind of said, okay, modern Sonic's the cool one, classic Sonic's the cute one, whereas before, like, classic Sonic was meant to be kind of a little bit of a mix between the two, but you kind of got the sense that Sonic himself doesn't want you to find him cute, like, he'd rather you fuck off,
Yeah.
The canonization of classic Sonic, I just find bothersome in the way that they define the two, and
I agree.
I've always been kind of I've been kind of suspicious since Superstars, especially, that like just art and world design is going to be one of those things. Like anything that's like cartoony and fantastical and abstract in any way, they're just going to give that to classic Sonic, and every modern game is just going to put you in grassy fields and cities, which
That look depressing as fuck. I mean, I think Crossworlds has put some of that to bed for me anyway, because like the original locations
Maybe.
we've got in Crossworlds are kind of dead on what I want to see. Like the Aqua Forest, for example, is beautiful in my opinion. Like I think that place looks lovely. I think Donpa Factory is a really cool looking level. Egg Expo, like it, that's asset reuse done right. I think. Like
Yeah, I was gonna say, like they made an Eggman convention out of reused assets. That's actually pretty creative.
and it actually kind of works. And like how East Stadium has little voxels of Green Hill Zone here and there, but it's not just another Green Hill Zone. Like, and that was something I said at the time of Frontiers was like, okay, sure. You're reusing assets for cyberspace. Sure, it's got the budget of a piece of used toilet paper. Brother. But, like, they could have at least recolored these assets or something, which is funny because there is a mod that does kind of just that, which was that original cyberspace mod by Scrubdy. And it's more than just recoloring. Like, there's a lot more work gone into it than that. But ultimately, they're still using the same general assets with some retexturing and representation and stuff like that. And you can see when you look at like Shadow Generations, there's areas that have been reused, but without you really knowing it. Like for example, the mountains in the background of the Rail Canyon from Ares Island, and then a lot of like the grass and rock structures from Kingdom Valley come from Kronos Island and stuff like that. They've reused stuff but made it new again, which is why I just never understand the whole. Here's Green Hill, buddy. Enjoy.
Just make it red. Makes
Red
everything
Hill.
better.
Yeah.
I mean, they had like something with like I think it was like 1-4 where the whole thing was quite obviously floating in the air, and I was like, well, that's different enough. Like, but they didn't lean into that enough. But kind of back to kind of the original thing I was kind of getting at is kind of like when they get round to the next like Sonic TV series. Like, would you be happy for them to continue with the same sort of art style as like Sonic Prime, or would you like something different?
No. I don't think Sonic Prime looked bad, but like it's so boring looking most of the time. Like
I think
it's
that's
fine.
the-
It gets the job done.
I think that's
But,
the
like-
environments for me is like it's a show that has like 4 different environments in it. Like one of them is quite literally Minecraft flat. But
It is the plainness of modern Sonic filtered through what is essentially a Nickelodeon cartoon. So that's
boring as fuck
since-
writing. Yeah.
I would I'd be happy to see the animation studio do another one because I do like the way the characters kind of animate in that show. The only thing I don't like is the backgrounds, they're just very plain. Like even Green Hill, like where's the waterfalls? Where are my waterfalls at? Why is it so dry?
I do appreciate them trying to, emulate some of Sonic's more like graphical illustrative like animation elements, like things like the figure eight, using a lot of principles like squash and stretch. I appreciate it. I will say, like, right off the bat, I didn't finish Sonic Prime. I got like 2 episodes in. I was like, this isn't for me.
I don't blame you.
But yeah, from what I saw, it just had an issue of feeling like it was maybe just kind of restrained by being on a TV budget. That's the most that I got out of it
It's
in terms
quite,
of what its animation does.
it's
Well, you
quite
got further in the show
Play-Doh-y.
than I did.
You got further than Franken did. It's quite Play-Doh-y looking, I noticed, but like I don't
Yeah,
hate
a
that
little bit.
because I would kind of kill for like an Aardman animated like Sonic claymation. I mean,
If anything, just to see Sonic do his own version of the Grommet and the train sequence.
that would be so cool. But like, I mean, it even kind of speaks to like Sonic history as well, because like the earliest advertisements for Sonic 1 used claymation for like when Sonic's in that little car and he's on the parade and stuff. I don't know if you've ever seen those, but like like super early Japanese Sonic marketing had him represented as a little claymation guy, and it's like, you know what, I'd kind of be game for like
I have seen that, I think.
a claymation Sonic short. Like they've done like obviously like the Sonic Crossworlds thing. Imagine if they had one where they just like maybe not Aardman because obviously they're like the biggest name in the world when it comes to like claymation and stuff like that. But like I mean then again they could. But, like, you know, maybe thinking a bit more realistic, like, just a claymation studio doing a Sonic thing would be so cool to see, in my opinion. But, like, the dream, everyone always says the kind of dream would be, like, having Powerhouse on it. And I'd love to see that. I would love to see it. I don't know how viable it would be, though. I think there's a reason why Powerhouse's animations are usually only a couple of minutes long. Is because, I mean, those are absurdly polished. Like, a lot of people pointed out that TMS's animations for Sonic Superstars weren't of the same quality. But I was also kind of like, to be fair, though, Powerhouse is absurdly polished with their animations. I don't know about you guys.
I don't really. What did Powerhouse? What have they made?
They did the Sonic Origins animations.
Oh,
They did the
that's
Sonic.
fine.
They did the Sonic
heavy.
Frontiers prologue, I believe.
Which
they
was also
did.
Oh, that
beautiful.
looked nice.
Sonic
was fine.
Trio of
Did-
Trouble for it was the
Yeah, they did that
promo
one.
short for Superstars.
Yeah, I don't even. Yeah, I didn't have any problems with them. I don't think. They were
While the
okay.
in-game, well, not in-game, but while the cutscenes that were on the game for Superstars were by TMS, who have quite a history with Sonic. They worked on Sonic X, and they also worked on Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, but they weren't the main studio on Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. They were like an assistant studio. Hang on, I want to see if I can find an example.
It's a shame Sonic X is not consistently well animated because,
Oh,
like, a
it's good.
designed for animation version of Uekawa's art style, that's probably about as good as you're going to get as what you have in Sonic X when it looks its best. Unfortunately, that's only like 5% of the time.
That was what I was saying about the Chow Tales shorts. Was like, this is how we remember Sonic X looking. Sonic X, though, to be fair, like, as toilet tier as the animation can be in parts, especially for anime, I do think it's one of the better looking Sonic shows, in my opinion, just because I do like the 2D animation and stuff like that. And I like the general model sheets that they're working off of. It's just how often they go off model. And it can sometimes be down to, like, directors having different visions. Like, you can get some episodes by one director where they'll be very chibified almost, kind of. But it's like a halfway point. It doesn't look like a deliberate stylistic change. It's just now they're drawn with a bit more emphasis on big heads and hands and stuff. I think the only real egregious part of the animation for me with Sonic X is just how the low animation budget kneecaps the action. Like, in the Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 arcs, you kind of, you know, you've seen these battles before, but because the animation budget isn't there, they're very short, and they kind of generally consist of, like, maybe a splash page shot of the character. The other thing is that
it's a lot of holding on individual poses, yeah.
Yeah, and the backgrounds are ghastly. Like, once you've noticed them, you can't unnotice them. And Ultimate Spider-Man, the animated series, did a similar thing with its backgrounds, where rather than, like, illustrating or painting the backgrounds, they've just photo-bashed stuff and then posterized it. And the posterization is really egregious in Sonic X. I need to find a picture of what I'm talking about, because it is quite funny that, like, once you notice it, suddenly every background in it looks like that. Yeah,
that's rough.
It's nasty. Especially, like, there's a bit where they're, like, sitting on the grass and stuff, and the grass just looks atrocious. You could tell it is just a photograph of some grass that has been posterized. And it hasn't even been recolored either, so it has all of that posterization artifacting on it. It's disgusting looking. I'm Googling Sonic X grass. This is going to be a really fun thing to look at. Some pictures are definitely better than others. I'm noticing that most of the pictures online are the good ones. We'll come back to that some other time. How are we feeling about the discussion? Do we feel quite satisfied? Do we feel quite complete with it?
I feel like we've had a lot of good words.
Frank?
I would
Ian?
agree.
Yeah, we good? All right, then.
Yeah,
shall
good.
we then move on to Super Chats?
Sure.
All right, then I'm going to need a second to log them. Just chat amongst yourselves for a bit.
Okay. I'm so hungry.
Okay.
I'm glad we're buddies.
This is work related. You know
Hey.
this. It's all business.
He's really
is a
leaning
job
into
thing.
this joke, which leads me to believe it might not be a joke.
Puppet told me this since day one. Just let you know.
I hate you, Frank. I hate you, Frank.
See?
It's so
abusive,
rude. Why
right?
would you hate Frank? He's
know.
great. Look at him.
He's so mean.
Maybe I should start at dawn.
At dawn will never be.
At dawn will never be.
I don't know.
You
Could run a show like
son of
at
a-
noon Pacific time
But
on
then
Fridays.
why would it be at dawn if it's at noon?
Well, it's dawn
That's the joke.
somewhere.
I mean,
Okay.
Sunset City isn't on at sunset. It's very much sun. being
I mean, the
set
sun
for a
is going
while
down
and
right
then-
now for me.
Oh, okay. Well, it's sunset for you then. All right then.
Oh no,
We've got
all the way down.
them logged. Is
Getting
everybody
the
able
sun's
to
going
see,
down because we had daylight savings recently.
Is everybody able to see the super chat mailbag?
Where am
I mean, we
where am I
can-
supposed to
let
look?
me- let me
It would
give
be
you the
it would be
Zany
above
Golf for a
our.
So it's a channel called Super Chat Mailbag. You should be able to see it now, Em.
Yeah, there it is.
Okay. All right. Starting with Dylan because we do it table order. So Borker.
Hold on. KB, $9.99. Is the Sunset City cult dedicated to Rouge the Bat, like how that one cult in Russia is dedicated to Gadget from Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers? Excuse me?
I tell you what,
What?
Gadget could get it.
Oh, here we go.
So I'm shocked that you're not more concerned about this sentence than it is with just joining the cult. But okay. I didn't know that was a thing, but I guess that is one of those characters that people obsess over, right?
I guess so.
I guess so. What you mean is, yeah, we do.
But
Who's we?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Nintendo. Okay. My
Nintendo?
turn. Barker. Mr. Krabs 459. Thank you, Mr. Krabs 459 with the $1.99. Thank you. It's Homer Time Friday. Dope. Thank you, Mr. Krabs 459.
It has been a very Simpsons time as of late, just because of Fortnite, and
Yeah, it really
I've been
has. I'm
rewatching
still-
I've been rewatching old Simpsons episodes. Like I was watching the Camp Krusty episode yesterday, and I was like, man, I love this stuff.
Oh yeah, classic Simpsons is great, and you know what? Some modern Simpsons too. A lot of the most recent stuff has been.
Yeah, I've seen a few good modern Simpsons episodes.
You
There
know
was
what I
one
find
where it was like,
interesting is that the Simpsons recently have been kind of doing some exclusive to Disney Plus shorts in the recent years. And like the ones that are made in collaboration with Disney are borderline unwatchable. They're fucking awful. Like, who is this for? But then the one they made in partnership with Fortnite was actually kind of okay. So I'm like,
yeah, it wasn't that bad. It was kind of fun.
yeah, I'm like, I think a certain mouse might be the problem.
Most likely. But yeah, there was an episode that was kind of going through like Bart's life, and then it also goes into like the future. It was like a more recent episode where it's like he wasn't really attached to anyone like as a kid except for his grandpa,
I think
and
it's called
it kind
Bart
of goes
that
through
one.
his whole life, everything, like how Lisa's successful, but Bart's still doing his own thing. And I was like, oh,
Damn.
You know, I find
it
kind of
has a good
wacky,
ending.
though.
It has a very wholesome ending, but it was like it was actually a good episode.
Something
Is it
kind
Maggie
of
the President?
Something I find kind of wacky though about like the future episodes is how Bart is usually a bit of a fuck up when it's like, no, okay, Bart opened a fucking casino in his treehouse and got people to go there. Bart has proven beyond shadow of a doubt that he's enterprising purely for tenacity. He would be a huge success because the guy has no fucking limits. While Lisa, on the other hand, in the modern world, intelligent, book-smart people are kind of by and large fucked. So, like, I kind of need a more convincing future episode for Bart, please.
I think that's one of those like whole like, oh, you stay in school and you'll have your success and everything, and that's clearly not the case.
Everybody knows
all the
that's a
time.
load of crap these days.
At least not all the time.
Everybody. I feel like common sense is don't do well in school. Do your own thing. That's a lesson from me to you,
I'm
kids.
kind of getting to the point where I feel like no matter what you do, it kind of just doesn't matter anymore. Like,
Which one has you being less fucked?
you're fucked either way, I think. That's how it feels.
Yep. Yeah, but the lesser the better.
Yeah.
Yeah, women are great.
That's true.
Frankenborker.
Okay. Drono with the 10 Brazilian Royales. So thank you for the 10 R dollars.
Those are
Repeating
Brazilian
myself.
reals, Frank.
Yeah, R dollars. Dollars are us. Repeating myself. The models had its purpose, like Mario from 64, Sunshine. They were built for those games. The limitations that they were built around Blur Studio Sonic is just treated as the default.
I mean, that's the
think
thing,
there's a-
is like, it's not like they used the Mario Odyssey model for Mario Wonder. Just saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Or it's not like they're going to use like the Mario 64 model where it's like when he goes further away, they're going to go to an even lower poly model. It's like that was only for that game because of those limitations.
To be fair, to be completely fair, I would welcome the Mario 64 model as an unlockable, like it is in Mario Odyssey. And like, I would welcome...
I would love
in
that.
the same way that I welcomed the Adventure Sonic model and Jam Sonic model for Sonic Generations as remaster.
Yeah. If it's just a
That
fun
was
little
kinda-
unlockable, that's cool. Yeah.
That was kind of cool.
Yeah, I like me some low poly scrunkly dudes. Like, I'm always welcoming of that.
I know this is a bit further outside the scope of what they wanted to do, and they clearly didn't go for it. But it would have been nice if they somehow integrated them into the cutscenes. But again, I think that might have been a little too much
Oh
work.
no, I agree. I would have loved that, especially like the ones that are kind of like playing in the game anyway. Like for example, in the boss fights, when like Sonic comes in, he's still in his modern model, and it's like, no man, I want the
anything
adventure
that's
model.
in engine, I feel like there shouldn't be any problem.
You get the same issue with like Shadow and the Terrio skin.
Yeah, although in some cutscenes he has it, some of them.
Yeah. It just would have been nice to have him have it like consistent. And yeah, it would just be like that the whole joke of like your RPG character looking out of place in cutscenes. But I think that's hilarious.
I
It'd
mean,
be a nice little
considering
touch
that
to
there's
have.
no CGI cinematics, I don't see why everything can't just be in engine. Like Frontiers has a similar thing as well, but like
Because they gotta
Frontiers-
render the videos.
It's weird because Frontiers, you can tell when it switches to like a pre-render. Because for example, if you have like a flashback scene when the screen goes red, his shoes switch to his regular shoes out of whatever shoes you're choosing to wear. And I'm like, oh, he's in the past, so he's got his metal shoes on. I also want them to look more like actual shoes rather than looking like those little Fantasy Zone fuckers.
hey, what's wrong with Fantasy Zone?
Nothing, but you wouldn't wear it on your foot, would you?
Pup, you
Yeah, but-
literally bought official Sonic shoes that you wear.
Yeah, but they don't look like Fantasy Zone shoes because they fit
If
on my
they
little
did,
footsies.
you would still wear them.
I
know
Yeah,
did.
they
Stega,
would.
It's
Stega,
the
you gotta
official
start. You
Sonic
gotta work with a
slippers.
company and release
You
these.
still would. I know you.
I
you
have
wear
them.
them
We
in
need
public.
I
We need
have
some
the
Fantasy
Sonic
Zone
slippers.
shoes.
They're very comfy and they make a fun little sound whenever I walk. Sadly, it's not
Yeah,
like a honk.
he wears the slippers over his real shoes so he can pretend that he's
Oh,
Sonic.
get
in
them as
real
like
life.
get them as like slides or like Crocs or something.
No, but I tell
There
you
you
what.
go.
I tell you what.
Throwing out new ideas.
So they never released the Sonic Movie 2 shoes in the UK, but I did get some from AliExpress for like £20. The difference is, rather than being dyed white fabric, it's actually red fabric, so it doesn't like stretch and fade. The other thing is it comes with a little bag of emeralds and rings, which is nice. It costs £21, and they've lasted me for 3 years and still going, so I'm very happy about it.
That's crazy. I'm surprised they lasted that long.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing. I mean, the soles got mangled on the inside, the inner soles, but you can just take them out and then just wear them.
Yeah.
Like nowadays, I tend to wear them with a thick pair of socks, but like still, like fucking, Sonic.
You can switch them out for like other souls if you really need to.
I mean, shit, at $21, I could just buy another pair. Like
Hey, he's getting a lot of mileage. He's getting a lot out of the for those $21. So
they're very
Yes.
comfy. And while
So-
Nick says you wouldn't go out in public with them, I say everyone would think I'm extra cool. So fuck you, Nick, stupid boy. Yeah, you know how it is.
But Sonic in
I think
regular
I'm gonna-
terms, and I'll never forgive them.
The Sonic.
I
Yeah, I
think-
remember you mentioning the Sonic tunes.
I think I'm gonna agree with Nick on that one. I don't know. I don't think I'd want to be caught outside wearing Sonic shoes.
They're cool shit. It's just a red shoe with a stripe on it. Don't worry about it. Like,
Yeah, it's not so much. It's not so much that it's a Sonic shoes. I don't wear red shoes.
oh, that's fair. You know me. My favorite color is red. Well, anyways, this next one, Borker.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Mr. Krabs 459, $4.99 US. Grommet, Homer, Rivet, Squidward, did you or did you not release Chaos? Homer. Let's say hypothetically I did. How do we stop him?
That's pretty
It
good.
actually was a good Homer.
How'd you do that? That was like you switched places on your microphone with someone else who was in your room just now.
It's funny as well
That's
because it's very unexpected because you're quite soft-spoken, so when you do something like that, it always just catches me off guard.
It did. I think that is what it was. It's like a completely different inflection and everything. Like,
Yeah. Oh, that's crazy. Thank you,
That was
Mr.
good.
Krabs. Borger, Dylan.
oh shit, me again. Let's go. Okay. Whale Ping, $4.99. Personally, I personally don't like full Toonie for Sonic because of Eggman. Why does this keep moving? Stop moving. A lot of great visuals in the classic games came from the cold metallic bases. I agree with the. I think you're. I wouldn't want the whole game to be like that. When I was talking about like I like the Toonie style, like more Heroes stuff. Like even Heroes had a very bleak and depressing and dreary final level for Eggman. You know, Final Fortress and whatever the fuck the other one was called. Looked very. I feel like it was a good compromise because we had some of the silly ship designs that Eggman is prone to making, but also everything was very mechanical and looked like it was going to kill you. So
Yeah,
I do
there's
think
a-
there's
there's a-
room for both. I think even having that extreme juxtaposition between, you know, Eggman's cold and metallic stuff and then like the fun and friendly like nature areas is something that would make both of them more effective.
Alternatively, you can always make it like comedically oppressive, like make it
Yeah.
cartoonishly oppressive.
I
That's
think
the
the
thing.
bigger the juxtaposition,
that's-
the funnier it is.
Well, you know, Eggman putting his big ass mug over all of his machines, that's kind of what serves that purpose, is that you have,
That's it, yeah.
you know, it's like you have these big like industrial projects that he makes, but yeah, he has his logo over all of them,
Yeah,
and
And it's a
all
giant
of his
Ferris wheel.
all of his designs are in some way made after his image. You know, it kind of counterbalances it.
I personally want them to lean far more into Robotnik as just a comedically oppressive force, like just needlessly unkind. Like make his cities needlessly oppressive. Like
I mean,
benches
that's
with
why I like
spikes on
things like
them.
you know, in IDW when Eggman's just like, I'm done being the smart guy in the room. I'm going to kill you. Like he just picks you up and like throws you around. Like I love it when they do that because like all
What's
of his
the
enemies are 3 feet tall and he's like 7'1". Like it's
It's like
crazy.
imagine if Robotnik tried to make like a park or something. Like in the real world, we've got anti-homeless architecture, which is incredibly.
I was about to
Eggman.
say,
Like,
yeah, what's the
let's take it
Eggman
a step
equivalent of
further.
of anti-homeless benches?
Let's take it a step further and just make it anti-everything benches. Like they literally have a
Can't sit
spike
on it.
bed on them and anvils that hang from the trees above. Like
It's
just
really
go
good.
completely nuts with it, you know? I mean, like that's what
You know-
Scrap Brain was. It had fucking pizza cutters coming at you, you know? Like
And it had like conveyor belts, so you couldn't just stand in one place.
yeah, like he'd
Or it had
probably make the
the
ground
split
like
knock-
hot or something. They'd probably, like,
Anti-loitering measures. Everything is just a conveyor belt.
there's literally
You know, it's funny-
everything
What
has some kind of
Loitering.
guillotine under it. Like
loitering is all Sonic does. What's he gonna do?
I know. He's so in. He loves. I mean, in Sonic X, he likes loitering.
it's funny you mentioned the
Yeah.
conveyor belts, by the way, because like that was a thing in Sonic Prime. They showed like all the animals in New York City were traveling
that's
via
true.
this big conveyor belt. You just pitched Sonic Prime, you goober.
I prefer Futurama's way of doing things, where it's like a giant tube that you go in like way too fast.
They
I wouldn't
did
like
that though in Dream Team. Dream Team's Ego City is just the Futurama opening credits, but playable.
Tourists.
You're right. That did happen.
Tourists.
I was gonna say, speaking of like the what's it, the anti-homeless like architecture or whatever it is for like the benches. I've been playing Pokemon Legends ZA, and they actually have those benches.
I saw that.
It's like
that's
that's
fucking insane.
that is
That
twisted.
was in Pokemon.
I thought Pokemon
So that-
was
that-
supposed to be kind of idealistic.
So
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
that shows two things. One, they hate homeless people, and two, there are homeless people in the Pokemon franchise.
I mean, Lumio City is a really big place, Frank. There has to be some homeless people there.
Man, rent has to be super high.
I like to think
Yeah.
that you can like make a load of money by like eating a Pikachu or something.
on like the dark web.
Maybe
just
maybe
post
get like
a video on
slowpoke
YouTube
tail.
of you like eating a live Pikachu, and then like.
No, you just gotta like where to harvest slowpoke tails. They go for a lot.
I mean, that is pretty
They go for
lucrative.
$1 million.
To be honest, there's probably a lot of things you could sell in the Pokemon universe that you could just kind of find. You know, find a Pokemon, sell it to someone.
That's illegal, I think. I don't think you can sell Pokemon. Oh, actually, no. Some people do.
Should
No.
it not be illegal just abducting wildlife and putting it in a ball anyway? Like,
I mean, the game corners
yes.
used to give you free Pokemon, or used to give you Pokemon for in exchange of coins. So
Yes,
like
the
to
game
think
corner.
that Pokemon
there's also
came about.
there's also the guy from Pokemon Red and Blue who would give you a magic
Oh, he
card
sold you the
for
magic card,
$500. Yeah,
Well, I like to think that
it'll
there's
lay
like
10,000 golden eggs.
the real
They
creator
probably
of
wouldn't
Pokemon.
put that in the game these days. You probably can't. They'd probably be like, you can't sell a Pokemon to someone. That sucks.
I think you could still get it in like Let's Go Pikachu, because I think you're able to still get one.
Oh yeah, I'd say outside of a remake, they probably won't do that.
Yeah,
let's
no.
move. Let's move over to the next one. So, Borker, Mr. SP.
I was born ready.
Oh, look at me. I was a member for 6 months. Idiot. Thank you, Mr. SP, for the $11.7. Imagine Sega hires Trigger to animate Frontiers 2. It will cost all of the money, but it will be the most stylized Sonic game we've ever had. What's an example of like a Studio Trigger game?
I was gonna say, so
Studio Trigger
Kill
game.
the Kill.
Or just
Red.
animation, sorry. I don't know
Didn't they
anything,
make-
okay? I'm stupid.
well, here's
Yeah,
the thing, like, it'll cost them all the money, but don't worry,
Kill the Kill.
we have
Promare.
we have Yakuza and Persona to kind of flip the bill on that one.
Okay, okay.
The most Sonic-like thing you would probably get from them is like panty and stocking. I mean, you know, minus the South Park humor.
Oh man,
That is a very
addition
Sonic
to the South
art
Park
style
humor.
almost.
man, that show is so funny.
What I will say, actually, and not to, I won't stay on this for too long since we're in super chats, but just a pie in the sky dream that has always existed for me in terms of animation studios working on Sonic is I've always wanted to see Studio 4C do a Sonic thing. That's an anime studio that I mean, what's a recent thing they've done? That people they did those Berserk movies that came out somewhat recently. Not the recent 3D one that sucks, but one of the ones before that. But there's like one of the founding members of that studio, Koji Morimoto, has a short film called Noiseman Sound Insect, which if you want to go the full like jet set radioification of Sonic, I think that would be a good reference point. Because it has that same there's like a term for what that aesthetic is that has kind of gone around on the internet for a while. I think it's called grind fiction. Stuff like The World Ends With You. Stuff like The World
Okay,
Ends
love
With
The World
You
Ends
and
With
Jet
You.
Set Radio.
Yeah.
That very like urban, we're a bunch of scrappy teens going against like
Persona
this
5.
oppressive system. Persona in general is probably in that as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, just having a lot of these aesthetic signifiers that speak to that. I think Studio 4C and like one of their first projects, Noiseman Sound Insect, is like one of my favorite versions of that, and I would just like to see that with Sonic on it. So yeah.
Hell yeah. I just googled like the overall like cinematography of it, and it looks really nice.
Also,
Yeah, it's kind of like. Sorry, go on.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
No, I was gonna say it's kind of the cinematography is a big thing because I don't know how familiar you are with the animation technology that was pioneered in Tarzan. There's this thing called deep canvassing, where they could essentially like a lot of those vine riding and vine swinging sequences in the movie. That's done with like 3D models, which they would then like texture map paintings onto.
Like,
I didn't know that.
Like there's a lot of 4C Studio 4C stuff that does kind of a variation of that. So even though a lot of it's hand drawn, there's a lot of stuff that you can't do with just hand drawn stuff there.
so is it like that it's projected onto it, or is it more like they've made a 3D model but the textures on it are all hand drawn basically?
It's probably more complicated than that, but I think you've got it.
Okay, because the latter is how I've done my Sonic stuff. Like, just, it's a 3D model, but the textures are illustrated. Um, but, like, yeah, I love that kind of stuff. Yeah. Okay, so on to the next one.
Oh, actually, real quick, if you're wondering over like Studio Trigger, one of the more recent things they worked on was Cyberpunk Edge Runners, the Netflix series.
Oh,
That too, yes.
I forgot about that.
Yes. Yeah. So, and that show looks amazing. So, either one could work really well for Sonic.
So do we edge Sonic as well? He's a runner.
You would
Shut
like that,
up.
wouldn't you?
Shut up.
Maybe a little. All right. So, anyways, Frankenburger.
Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. I don't know why I said that. That was I literally don't even, I didn't even mean to say it. It just happened. Fuck.
Whale Ping with the $1.99 US on Sonic Prime animation is step 1. Next plot.
To be fair, to be completely fair, I think the plot on paper could be cool. Like, the idea Sonic has accidentally ripped the universe into different little layers and stuff like that through his own impatience, and he has to kind of make it right, and he kind of ends up treating people in these new dimensions like they're his friends, but they're not, and then he gets betrayed by a bad Tails and stuff like that. Cool. The problem is, that's 10 episodes, not fucking however the fuck many episodes there were. Like, they stretched that thing out to the point of, like, you got nothing out of an individual episode. If you binge watch the bigger picture, you'll also be pissed off because it's just not very bingeable. So it just kind of doesn't really work as an episodic thing. It feels more suitable for a movie. But I thought the plot on paper, to give it credit where it's due, was okay. The scripts weren't great, but, like, the general idea.
I kind of agree on. It's unfortunate because I did watch, like, when the Netflix model was to release the whole season in air quotes at once. So it was really hard to not binge watch it at that point, because why would you stop if you have time?
Well, also because
So
I
when
needed
I
to
was-
make videos on this stuff, too.
Yeah, no, I didn't care about that. But so, like, I just went and binged it because I was like, I liked season 1, like, what it was setting up. I want to see where it goes. Season 2 was like nothing happened for most of it. I was like, okay. And then season 3, again in air quotes, because it's really just one season.
I found that
it just like it was so drawn out that I was like, you guys didn't have enough of this. This should not have been done like this.
I found
like-
season 1 was too repetitive, and season 2 was too repetitive, but season 3 was too repetitive.
I think I was at least interested in checking it out after season 1 because I did feel like it, it wasn't quite what I wanted from a Sonic show, but it was also, I was like, what are they gonna do? Because there's more.
I
Like
was
I'll
kinda
give
like,
it a chance.
Yay,
and
Sonic! My little poo-poo
it was
brain was saying.
It was just fine for most of it, and fine to really uninspired. But again, like I think the voice actors are insanely good for what they had there. Like they all did really well.
the voice actors, I would welcome them with open arms. But
Because
like,
a lot of people, that'll be their main problem. It's not the regular voices, but like I almost prefer a lot of them.
put it this
It's-
way,
I don't know.
like, I'm not someone who would ever advocate for someone to be, like, fired or whatever, but I would happily welcome Devon Mack as a full-time Sonic with open arms. I don't think he was served very well by Sonic Prime, because his Sonic was overly neurotic, which is not very Sonic-y. But, like, I'd welcome him as a voice actor, because I think he's got a great voice for it, and he's very good at, like... He did well with the Sonic he was given. I want to see him do really well with a great version of Sonic.
Yeah.
And I know that we're never going to have my ideal version of Sonic again, as Sega has clearly moved past that now. Sonic is just this charismatic guy that gets along with everyone, rather than being the sleepy bitch that that is capable of hilarious amounts of pettiness. But, like, I still, I'd just like to see Devon Mack voice a Sonic that's not going, "This isn't you, 9!" every 5 seconds. Yeah, you know how it is. So, okay, next up, Emburger. That means,
Was it me next?
It's your turn, yeah.
Wait, how do I pronounce this?
Oh, KB.
KB with $9.99 US dollars. The fact that Rise of Lyric had the most expressive Sonic models is kind of crazy.
Certainly had the most expressive animation, that's for sure. Like,
Well, those are all people who are like Western trained. and that's what was I going to say? Yeah, those are all people who are Western trained and have like Big Red Button itself was just had a lot like its roots in a lot of like Naughty Dog projects, didn't it?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, they were like.
it's not really a
Naughty Dog.
yeah, it's not really a surprise that that's the thing, and also just the pre-production of that game. Those are like the standout aspects of it, because like Bob Rafai, the director of that game, I think he was pretty much exclusively an art director before he became a game director for that game. That was the first game. Yeah, that was his game directorial debut, and it was the first time they'd had any of their projects greenlit as that studio. So it would yeah, it's always made sense to me that the pre-production for that game is as extensive as it is. Is that like in that sense, I think in that sense, he at least knew what he was doing.
I think it's also just like I hope that a lot of the people that worked at like Big Red Button during that have gone on to have like successful careers, like especially the ones that were laid off because of it as well. Because the thing is, say what you will about Rise of Lyric, the final product, just getting a fucking game like that from CryEngine 4 to fucking Wii U is extraordinary. Like that was an incredible feat of just, video game creation, really. It's not been done since. It had never been done before. Like, it's a shame the final product turned out as it did, but, like, I wish nothing but the best for the folks that had to work under those conditions.
It was definitely a very Sisyphusian thing they had to put up with there. And
Oh, yeah.
they pushed the boulder higher than I would, that's for sure.
Yeah, like, just, that's the thing, is like two things being true at once. Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric is a shoddy product. Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric is also kind of a fucking marvel of just porting, really. Like,
It's actually insane it wasn't canceled, I think.
yeah, I mean, there was a lot riding on it as well for Sega, even though rebooting Sonic at that point was kind of senseless, but it's a long story. We'll get into Boom another time, I think. But thank you, KB, for the $9.99.
Yeah, as always.
Next up,
Thank you.
Dylan Borger.
Oh shit, I'm playing Crossworlds. Hold on.
Dylan, eye on the ball, boy.
No. No. Next up, KB $199.
No. You've missed one.
Mr. Terry Chaos.
There you go.
2 pounds. Big. Hold on. Lois, remember the time I fished the water god?
Why is
Lois?
Big
What's he
Rig
talking to
Lois
Lois?
now? Yeah, why is he talking to Lois? I mean, I know.
Hey,
what
did you
Terry's
contract
doing.
like the
I
fandom
know.
conjunction from Mr. Krabs or something?
Terry has inherited the Mr. Krabsisms, it seems. It's infectious. Thank you, Terry.
It's Big the Cat Friday.
Borger. KB sends the $1.99. Set your goals, steal their souls. The little crossword lyric. Thank you, KB. And also, I just when I saw steal their souls, the first thing I thought of was, you guys remember Kitsch Night, where one of them turns into Wario? He's like, I got the
stealing
brand new
souls.
Wario kicks. Gordon takes his souls. That is so fucked.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Thank you, KB. And, okay, let me just, I'm gonna do the super chat cutoff now. Alright, let me just pin that. And Frankenborger.
Mr. Supersonic 28 with the $2. Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog Eggman is a mod in Crossworlds. We got peak.
There's no such thing as Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog Eggman, okay? I'm gonna be real pedantic about this. He's Robotnik. He's exclusively
Oh,
Robotnik.
shut
Also, yeah,
up.
we made that. We made one of those, so we
Actually,
definitely
well,
don't
I
want
mean,
that.
yeah, that's something quite funny, actually. Is so there's a lot of like Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog Robotnik love on Game Banana at the moment. There's a very recent one which straight up ports JC Thornton's Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog Robotnik model. There's the YTP one that has the voice lines, and I love that one so much. Ever since that one, Robotnik has been my main. And just having Sage bump into him in the back and him go, "Disgusting bitch," is just so funny. And then, yeah, Dylan and I did a little collab as well, didn't we, Dilnor?
We did, yeah. It was a more modernized, I guess
It's
it's like
speeding
modern
ticket
outfit
Robotnik.
inspired for Robotnik and the edited head of the JC Thornton model, and that's up on Game Banana as well. If you want two different flavors of Robotnik.
Yeah, so it's Robotnik as he appears in the short film Speeding Ticket coming soon. And yeah, his design is kind of like a very kind of Fleetway inspired look where it combines Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog's design with the modern Eggman jacket. So
It looks nice.
Dylan has ported him into the game. Best enjoyed with the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog voice mod.
Also, grab the Eggman on foot mod and try that out if you've never played before.
Or just stick him on extreme gear and
very
laugh at his
funny.
fat ass. I made sure he had a nice big plump ass. Very important for Dr. Robotnik. And finally, last super chat, M.
It's part of his character.
Walker.
Mr. Supersonic 28 with $5 US. Everything wrong with Rise of Lyric can all be boiled down to Sega's notes fucked up over even when it was supposed to be our thing.
Yeah, there was a very bad relationship between Big Red Button and Sega, from what I understand, during production. With I believe
geez, that's a shame.
Rise of Lyric was meant to be like an origin story thing.
Yeah.
And
It was.
completely different art style, but then they were like, hey, we made this partnership with Weedo Animation to do the Sonic Boom cartoon. And it's why the cartoon and the game have two completely separate tones. Okay, I'll take the last two super chats, but guys, I mean it. The super chat cutoff is now. We'll get any further super chats next week or next episode, depending on when we do one. So we got two more. Dylan Borger. Thank you, Mr. Supersonic 28.
Damn, it's me again already. All right.
Yes.
Mr. Krabs, US $4.99. Pup, look up Kaniku Man 2024 ending song. So that could be a perfectly style for Sonic since the ending was made by actual fan who love the series.
I'll check it out. Yeah, that sounds cool. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Krabs. And finally, Borger, this is the last one. Mr. Krabs with the $4.99. Thank you, Mr. Krabs. Oh dear. Hope Homie and the others are doing okay. Meanwhile, back with the others, Rivet. Homer, you idiot! Squidward. Help me, Homer. Homer. Don't! Alright,
What the fuck
and
is happening?
that concludes another sunny episode of Sunset City.
It's always sunny in Sunset City.
It's always scummy in Scumset City. The Sonic pod cult for the classic and modern age. You know how it is. It's a pod cult now, I think.
Pod cult is it? Describing it as the pod cult would actually be a really funny way to market Sonic pod
hang on,
cult.
We've got one we've missed apparently, which was before the cutoff. So apologies. This is Whale Fox Johnson. Sorry. Thank you for pointing that out, guys. I'll just read this one real quick.
Thank you.
So Whale Fox Johnson, with the $4.99. Thank you, Whale Fox Johnson. For expressiveness, Yakuza and Persona don't often use that animation. Japan audiences might not like it. Mario isn't expressive either. The only thing I'd say to that, though, is that Sonic doesn't do shit in Japan. So you might as well cater to the market where Sonic actually matters.
Well, it's not really like where he matters, it's like where he does best.
Yeah. Like, that, I mean, that was, like... I mean, bad example, but that was a big motivating factor for the Nintendo exclusivity deal, and, like, case by case, this is different. I'd say, like...
Yeah,
I think
it'd be kind of like Microsoft pushing the Xbox super fucking hard in Japan, even though they know that people don't really give a shit.
Yeah, like, it's
It'd be weird for them to just do that, you know?
Fantasy Star Online 2, trying to get that over there.
I mean, I guess it is a similar thing to the Nintendo exclusivity deal, because the mentality they took was, hey, let's make another Mario for the Mario fans. It's like, they've already got a Mario, there's no market for this, you know?
There really
Whereas,
weren't
like, there is a
actual
market
Sonic.
for Sonic in the West, a big one, much bigger than the one in Japan. So I think they should maybe invest a little bit more into expressive animation.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's definitely for everybody. I'm not saying, like, you ignore other people's comments, obviously, but, like, I think it does make less sense to hyperfixate on, like, I guess it's the same thing with, like, YouTube comments we could apply it to. Like, you know, you can get 1,000 good comments and then you get one bad one and you're like, oh,
Oh man, yeah, it
You
can
know,
take
like
the
it's kind
smile
of like
away.
that. It'd be like focusing on that specifically.
The other thing I'd say with Yakuza though is you've got those lovely illustrations whenever the characters have like an interaction. Like the overall setup of that game isn't cinematic; it's much more JRPG because that's exactly what it is. You know, I'd be game for Sonic to take on some more JRPG-isms in there as well. Like I did a video ages ago on like Sonic's style and how like the Frontiers character interactions, the ones where they just had the characters standing there barely moving their lips, would have looked much better with like PNGs and stuff coming up on screen.
Mm.
So like yeah, I would welcome some more personisms. But like yeah, Yakuza obviously is kind of going a bit more for realism anyway in terms of its aesthetic than what Sonic does. So I think given just the nature of Sonic, it still needs some more Western sensibilities in there. And if yeah, I don't know. I feel like you want to cater to the ones that are actually going to buy it, you know? But yeah, okay. I think that actually genuinely for real this time concludes the freaking super chats. So
These freaking super chats have been cut off.
the super chats are officially over. So why don't you start us off and like promote something you want the audience to know about?
Follow me on Twitter. I don't know.
Hell yeah, dude.
That's
What's your Twitter?
that's at mbonny. And just all the socials. Twitter, Blue Sky. Yeah, that's all I have to promote at the moment. Yeah, sure.
Do you think you may
What
ever?
does M Bonnie mean? What does that mean?
So there's a backstory behind that. It's very trivial though. It's basically has to do with me like talking with my cousin one time about like what my fucking actor screen name would be, and it's the name is just kind of a shortened version of that.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Cool. I just like to know sometimes when I can't immediately understand what a username might be.
It's like how I've made my alias Walter Grandfunk as opposed to my actual name. It just sounds cool. But like, yeah, do you think you might ever do another like YouTube video at any point, or do you reckon that's something that's put to bed while you pursue more the animation side of things?
I would like to. It wasn't really necessarily like my last video was the Sonic Adventure video during COVID, and that with everything else that happened that year just kind of knocked me out, and I just kind of felt the need to shift priorities. But I would like to get back into it at some point. I think it would have to be something relatively low effort though, compared to like a highly edited scripted video essay type thing.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, like, how long did the videos before take you? They were always very thoroughly edited.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't great at what do you say? How do you say
Optimizing.
I wasn't great at I wasn't great at
Time
pacing
management?
myself, so time management, that's the word. I wasn't great with like pacing myself through working on those, so they kind of just took as long as they took, and I didn't I didn't really gauge the time that they took.
History of Power Rangers has no set schedule. The videos will be done when they're done and will be released when they're done.
Don't ask for a link when it's up.
Oh Jesus. Okay, Franken then. What are you up to?
I basically I became big corpo streamer
Oh.
or YouTuber, and I was sent a creator kit for Sonic Rumble, so I did an unboxing of that. There's a video on the channel, and also a YouTube short because the video just straight up died. It was pretty funny. Aside from that, I'm still in the middle of editing or scripting some videos for the channel. I'll get those out. They'll be done when they're done and be released when they're done. Unless it's too late in the day, then I will wait until the next day. Aside from that, I'm going to be streaming on my Twitch channel later today. As a part of Title Relief, we'll be raising money for Child's Play, the charity.
I think I'm doing that today too. Fuck.
Oh no, rivalry. Also, who was it that mentioned earlier? Who was it that mentioned Jamo earlier?
Jamo? What?
I think
it was probably me.
Jamo's here in the chat.
Oh, hi, Joe.
Hey, what's up?
Hello, Gemma.
How you doing, dude?
Badass.
Time am I
Anything
supposed
else,
to do
Brandon?
this? 6 p.m. That's an hour from now. Shit. All right.
You have Dylan in an hour from now, and then
It's a
2
good thing
hours
that you
after
told me
his
that.
2 hours after his stream will be my stream, and I'm going to be playing Disney's Aladdin for the Super Nintendo and Tiny Toon Adventures Buster Bust Loose also for the Super Nintendo. And then on Sunday I will be playing Dragon Ball Z Budokai on PS2. So
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
yeah, a
See,
lot of good stuff
when
to
they
look
said
forward to.
when they said like licensed games, we were like looking at licensed games mostly. I was like, and then when I saw your thing about Dragon Ball, I was like, oh shit. I
Yeah.
could have thought of that.
Yeah, the whole thing is that everybody's playing licensed video games like the whole weekend. So or
Yeah,
if it
I'm
has
playing
like
the SpongeBob movie
DLC,
game.
or if there's any DLC that have licensed characters, like whether it's Minecraft or Fortnite or whatever. So I think those count as well.
Minecraft.
But it's all being it was all started with from Riders DX, and yeah,
and a dream.
so yeah, go ahead and check out. I need to figure out what's the Twitter again, because they have a Twitter account. Just look up Rehydrated Event, but it should say the title relief, and you'll have like the schedule and everything for it. So I'll post that in chat if I'm able to.
All right, sweet. Dylan, what are you up to?
I'm streaming in an hour. I'm playing the SpongeBob movie video game.
Oh, that's an
for
awesome
Riders
game.
DX Tides of the
Title relief.
title
Of the
relief fund. I swear I know what I'm doing. I forgot because I've been busy all day.
Oh wait, so are you playing? When you say the movie
Playing-
game, you mean the new movie game then?
No, I'm playing SpongeBob the movie game on PS2.
Oh,
like,
that's a
for the
sick
original
game.
movie.
That game's awesome.
I remember playing it when I was a lot younger, but I don't remember much about it.
Yeah, no, it's a great game. It's kind of like the difference between that and Battle for Bikini Bottom is kind of like Sonic Adventure 2 versus Sonic Adventure 1. Except I would probably say that Battle for Bikini Bottom is a bit better, where I'd say like the two adventure games, I'd say I love them equally. But okay, yeah.
And also making a lot of. Oh, actually, this is a good point. I've started a new YouTube channel called Garrulous64 Mods, and I plan on uploading stuff that I'm making there. It'll be stuff that I'm making and then commentary over it, most likely. I don't think it'll be anything insane. If you liked like some of the older Mania stuff, I guess probably be a little bit more like that. But yeah. Anyway, that's all.
All right. On my own end, I don't really know what's coming up, but yeah, I mean, you know me. There's always videos coming out, so just keep an eye on my channel and watch whatever comes out, whether you're interested in it or not. Because if you don't, then you must surely hate me, and if you hate me, then I hate you. I think that's
What
fair.
I'm saying.
It's completely fair, right? Well, that's the end of the episode, guys. Any last words?
Yes.